God.
Okay,
Okay,
so, so that is, that looks good. The friends are getting ready to send out the fundraiser letter, so we should.
let's table that for membership recruitment.
Oh, okay, sorry. Also, we have set the lineup for the concerts for next year. So, and that'll go out in the Friends thing, but July 7th, we're gonna have String of Pearls. July 14th, we're gonna have the Corvettes. July 21st, we're gonna have the I'm sorry, we're gonna have I'm sorry, not the Corvettes. We are having the carts. Now I gotta fix it. One of them, we're having the Cartels, and the other one, we're having the Corvettes do-up review. I think the 14th are the Cartels. But I'll have to double check because I wrote the Corvettes instead of writing the Cartels, and then do-up review on the next one. The 28th, we're gonna have Rock Solid Alibi, and we're gonna do one on August 4th because originally we had them planned for last year. It was called Take Two and Call Me in the Morning, and they're a very well followed band in the area that are a bunch of doctors that play. So, but they have a really big following, and we thought, I talked to Karen, one of our members, who her husband is in, not that band, but the band that we had, the Beatles band we had a couple of years ago. And I was picking her brain the year before last on who we could add to our lineup. So that'll be our lineup for 2022.
Quick question, what happened to the military band?
Well, the military bands, we don't have any signed up this year. I'm not even sure that they're doing stuff this year. I haven't checked because these were actually booked for 2 years ago, all these bands, and then they were booked again last year. So when we canceled them, I rebooked them so we could get them in. But we can definitely look at 2023. It's a little bit more work to do the military bands, a little bit more coordination and to see if, and you kind of gotta feel like you're playing Russian roulette, trying to, make sure that you end up with a band at the end, because you don't usually find out till closer. So that's it. January, we are gonna be having some more programming. And I'm sorry, but I left it all in my office, but you can definitely keep an eye on the newsletter. We try to keep adding stuff. Now that we're able to plan a little bit further in advance, I'm trying to start to put most of the January stuff in the December newsletter. And, so you do December and January, and then in January, I'll do January, February, so they can have something to look forward to and plan for, so.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, anything new for facilities?
We just had stuff done for the chimney, and I can't get into specifics because I just don't know. We have been having trouble with the phone line that calls out for the alarm. So we haven't actually been able to, even though it will sound here, it's not, So we had Comcast in here today, and Bill will be in today as well. So hopefully that'll all be taken care of today, but that's what's going on with the facilities right now.
Okay. Any questions for staff before we move on? All right, under old business, let's just do a little update reflection on the Memorial Garden. I have to tell you, it was remarkable. It was a remarkable event for us to have outside, to bring lots of people from the community together again, family members, representatives. We had a tremendous turnout from the VFW reps, and it was just a really nice afternoon and very, very well done, Steph.
Thank you.
Tell them about the email. Don't tell the person's name, but tell her what she said she wanted you to do.
Oh, no, I got a phone call that told me that they really that they were really moved by the service, and they were so glad that we did it. And at the end, she told me that I could plan her eulogy anytime. So I was,
Yeah, if you knew this person, you'd know that sense of humor.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was really good. Okay, any other comments?
oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh,
Yeah, it was very well done.
thank
Very
you.
well
Thank you, Kath.
done. Okay, all right, anybody else have any comment? Or move on? Under new business. I'm gonna stand up for this one, I think. Okay, last Wednesday, the architects presented the building committee their contractual, conceptual designs and their cost estimates for those designs. A few of you were able to make that meeting. Thank you very much for coming. But I did send everybody a PDF of the plans. I also have a graphic set here that Stephanie and I are gonna figure out, ooh, how about that bulletin?
Mm-hmm, that one looks great.
Okay, we're gonna put them up on that board so that anybody who comes into the center can see what we've done so far. And I need to stress this because actually the Connecticut Examiner did a nice article about that night and those plans. We need to stress that this is just the starting point. Building committee is gonna have a tremendous amount of work now in the next few months, starting to drill down to schematics, zoning possibilities, civil engineering, whatever needs to be done. But it also means that we're still dealing with 2 towns, not just one. So the next round of funding that we're gonna need will be to get whatever other engineering studies we need to put together and or the beginning of something that could lead to an eventual building plan. And I stress that because this isn't gonna be what it's gonna end up to be. Okay, the architects told us that they took everything we wanted and everything we said we needed and put it inside this building envelope, which is what they were charged to do, to look at how to reconfigure the space that's already here and adding space. The constraints they have are on this side of the building because all the mechanicals, the propane tanks buried out there, the generators out there, can't do anything on this side of the building. So if they needed to add space on this side of the building, eventually, that plan could be, if there's more space that's needed on this way, it might be we have to reduce a little bit of the space in this area in order to add more space over here. Because they're really locked into what the bathrooms look like, where the plumbing is, and all the mechanicals right now. So they're not necessarily the people that we're gonna be hiring to do the next phase. We have an architect on the building committee who couldn't do this because it would have been a legal conflict of issues for him to do that, his firm. But he's an architect that I can talk to about exactly what we need to do next. And my job in the next month or so is that I'm going to present this to both towns, boards of selectmen first, not the finance board. And then we're also going to be drawing up a plan for how to move forward to address things to the board of finance and timelines that we want to push for. If you looked at the Connecticut Examiner's article, my mantra is going to be from now on, it is our turn. Because when we got hit with the comment about, by the way, don't forget, the schools need $45 million, my response was, well, we're peanuts compared to that. Okay, so it is our turn, and I need to stress this. I know how difficult it is to get out to meetings or to join meetings on WebEx or on Zoom in any other venue like the town hall. But once we start doing what we need to do to push for what we need to get, everybody's gonna have to turn out for these meetings. If these boards don't see people coming to meetings to support what we're doing, they're not gonna give us anything. They're just not. And the only way we got that $15,000 out of our line to do this was people showed up at that meeting. And so just keep that in mind, but also talk it up with other people you know. And I will be letting you know in every conceivable space when things will happen. I'm posting everything, these plans included, on both towns' websites. We're completely transparent and nobody can tell us we have to. It's from day one. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I ended up being chair of the building committee, frankly, because nobody else on the committee would do it, which happens in a lot of organizations. And this is still a learning curve for me because I've never done anything like this before, but I have been fascinated with the challenge, to the point where I've already talked to Joe Courtney in person about possibilities for grants. I've already worked with his grants coordinator, one of the field reps. It's not the director of the grants, but the person who's been assigned. They're ready to help us look for grants. I've already talked to OMB, one of the commissioners there, who said if we have a building plan at the same time that there's steep grants available from the state, we would be eligible to get a steep grant for this. I'm also going to contact the American Rescue Plan Committee. They have a meeting next week I'm going to go to see if we might be eligible to get a little bit of the ARP money. And that, again, is both towns don't have those pockets of money. Both towns deal with steep grants, the state grants. Courtney was extremely interested because Lyme is still designated as a rural community. So I asked him to let me ask his coordinator to look for any federal grants under any federal agency that might actually be supportive of what we're doing. Because I know that he wrote a grant for another senior center a couple of years ago and got a huge grant from the Department of Agriculture because of their Meals on Wheels program. So there are lots of things. And if you come up with any ideas for me to start to research, instead of the private, let's hit the deep pockets in the community people, we're not ready to do that yet. But if you can think of any other avenues for me to pursue, please contact me and let me know. Don, do you have anything you want to
No, I think, I thought the architects did a great job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I said this during our meeting last week. They put in more hours than what we're paying them for. They did above and beyond, because I was on the phone with them every other day. And they actually haven't charged us for all the work that they've done. And they're still coming in under budgets at this point. So it's extremely pleasing.
I did not catch up with, you said that we have to get another part.
No, no, the next phase of what we need to do, because it's a public project, if we need to go to another contract with somebody, we're gonna have to put it out to bid. Maybe not, that's what I have to find out, if we can just hire somebody to do the next phase, or if we have to put it out to bid. I'm not sure where the next phase has to be bid phase. Okay. So yeah, but Russell Lerner, who is on our committee, he's from Centerbrook Architects, is a wealth of information, obviously. So he's in Michigan right now in a snowstorm. They're having in Michigan. Hopefully isn't coming our way. But when he gets back, I'm going to be to see what the next step is. I do know that Lyme wants us to put in for some money at this point. Because that's the other thing I'm dealing with. both towns have different budget cycles. It's a little nutty, but it's interesting. So, but I'm going to be presenting to Lymes sometime in early December. And I'm waiting for the new Board of Selectmen in Old Lyme to be seated and sworn in, and wait until that's all settled before I can get going and work with that. I'm actually though too, because Stephanie and I have always talked about this. And I said this at the meeting, there are people that I want to get into this building that have decision-making capability that have never stepped foot in this building. And showing them something like this means nothing if they don't come in and actually see what we are, who we are, and get a better sense of what we do. So that's going to be, I'm going to be reaching out to several people to give them tours of the building. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Jeremy.
So I really like the management. It is also that's very strong. I think if everybody sees it and uses it.
Yeah, one of our new members of the committee is Bennett Birnblom. He is a retired attorney, he's on the Board of Finance for Old Lyme. He and I are going to work on a sales pitch. Okay, simple, direct message. So that I can give that or use that for anybody. The other part of that mantra is, we know what we want, but we want to get what we are deserving.
Yeah, my follow-up question. I don't think we are able to just make that point. And if the person wants to look at things, we actually
That's why my turn is also what we get what we deserve. Perhaps.
I think some get figures.
Yeah. Yes, Steph and I are actually going to work on that because the momentum has begun for people to return, but we're also going to be talking about recruitment and retention of membership on the agenda right now. Okay. All right, so if anybody has any, please call me, send me an email if you have a question or if you have an idea. This board is critical for input into this process. It's always going to be. Okay. Next on the agenda is membership, recruitment, and retention. Now's the time to talk about friends.
So the Friends of the Lyme Senior Center, most of you already know, but I'll just, in case, I know we have a couple of new members on the board. The Friends of the Lyme Senior Center is a fundraising arm for our organization. So they have their own board, and they raise money that we use for programming. So it was developed a few years back, and although we've always had, we've always depended on money for our programming, they send out a letter once a year, and usually, however, right before they normally send it, which is around March or April of 2020, we all know what happened. So come March and in April, they decided to hold off, but then, till later in the year, but then it just snowballed, and you guys know the last year and a half have been. So Diana Sekla actually is on that board as well. And and they're going to be putting one out very shortly. They're going to get it printed and put out probably by December. So we're hoping, because a lot of people, that was a reminder for them to renew. And because we didn't have that, our numbers dropped dramatically during COVID. However, we have had quite an increase from what we were from our lows. You know what I mean? I just pulled out of the mail 12 members, 12 memberships, just from the weekend, so people are really starting to realize it. We've been putting it in the birthday cards if we knew about it, that, just a reminder that your membership is due. So people have been getting notified that way. We've been also reaching out via email for people that we know every month. Your membership will be expiring next month. So we're keeping things from getting worse. We're keeping it as status quo, and we are growing it, but we are not with the numbers that we were. So we're hoping that this Friends letter will bring a lot of the members that we've had fall off the rolls.
Okay, yeah, and just so you know, the legal standpoint of the Friends Committee, it's a 501c3. So, and their charter mandates that any money that they raise is for programs for this center. One of the arguments I'm anticipating with towns when we go to funding is they're still going to want to grab some of our money. And they're going to take a look at our healthy budget that we already have, and they still might want us to kick money in, but we're not going to let them do it, okay? Because Stephanie needs to do her kinds of projections for the communities down the road. And the whole idea of doing anything to this center is to look down the road 15 to 20 years. So I'm gonna fight, and so is Stephanie. We're not gonna allow the towns to seize our buffer, which is what we have right now. Because we don't know how things are gonna play out in terms of donations or legacies or anything down the road. The idea that we're slowly rebuilding is the other mantra that we need to put out there. And it's because I was asked this question before you came in. It's because there's still enormous confusion in the community about how open we are. I know that during the election cycle, every candidate was asked about what's happening at the senior center. And they were asked because over 50% of the people who live in both towns are 50 and older. Huge constituency that we serve. And so we need to develop a message that's clear and precise to give to everybody about opening and rebuilding. Okay. When we do that, I think recruitment will also be easier, and I think retention could be easier as well. So I think that would work. Can you give us number as of today, how many people are in the database or active?
I would have to go look as of today.
Okay, as of last Monday, it was 719, or as of last Wednesday, it was 700.
That are active members.
That are active members.
Yeah.
But we had something like over 900 that needed to renew or.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like I said, today I opened up, 12
Yeah.
12 up memberships. So,
we're coming back.
Yeah.
But it has to be slowly and safely. Which is when we get to that next part, I think we need to have that message developed. If you have ideas, Steph and I have floated together, we brainstorm about possible ways to up the recruitment. Like if you donate X number of dollars, you get your membership extended for X number of years. Okay, maybe even do a scale of that. The higher money you give us, the more years you get on your membership. We floated an idea of buy one, get one free membership, like a coupon type thing, which people love during shut-in moments, online shopping. I will totally.
Oh, go.
Yeah, totally into that. But these are ideas that we need to have come from you too. So if you could, between now and the December meeting,
right.
Let Stephanie or me, either one of us, know any ideas that you would have that you would think would work to up our recruitment and retention of members. Okay. Any schemes that we can present that would actually work. I think we're at the point where the public would actually appreciate that.
One other one that we spoke about was if you buy 2 years, you get your third year free. And that helps me out too, because, you know, you're not having to remind them the next year to renew because they've already got, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it keeps our roles active, you know, longer. So
Yeah,
kind
like
of-
buy one, get one, or buy two, get three, you know, whatever the formula is.
But yeah.
But for your bookkeeping or accounting purposes, yeah, whatever works for you is good too. All right, so if anybody has any ideas now, you just had a light bulb go up or an aha moment? Anybody? Oh, Diane,
No, I don't
Then
have-
Jane.
I don't have an idea, but I just think so that we, you know, buy 2 years and get one free, I think that's a pretty straightforward.
yeah, I like that one. I like that one a lot. So, Jane?
Well, quick question. So Stephanie, the newsletter that you send out, that's strictly sent to members.
correct.
Could we increase that so that it goes more to the town, so other people know about the center and the activities that are actually occurring here? So that
We,
they're aware of it?
we really, for a few reasons, we can't. One is we have limited amounts of newsletters that are done, that are paid for. So right now, anything over 660 newsletters, we pay for the newsletters. The newsletters run about $1.50, I think, a piece. So, and then you also are paying for the additional postage. So one of the things I do try to do though, and that's a good point. I mean, because we kind of looked at that, like, could we send out one a year to everybody? But we would have to do that, you know, based on the rules, and we wouldn't necessarily, you know, be every household. That costs, gosh, I think it was well over 2,000, and that was 3 years ago. Well over $2,000 to send to everybody in town. And now, you know, the postage has gone up so much already that it would be even more. It's probably closer to 3 or so that would have to be something that the board would decide to do, to put money into. But I do put everything in the events when we are, you know what I mean? So like you will see in December under the events, I just put a letter that says we are open, you know, and it explains what we're doing and that kind of thing, so that people get a better idea. And then once, you know, that everyone realizes that we're open, I will again put the next 3 months of programs that are planned so that they have an idea of what's going on and to call if they're interested. And believe it or not, people do read the events and they do call, because I've, you know, back before COVID, I would have people call me that they were looking at the events and they wanted to do this or do that, you know. I also usually do a whole part on trips, and that sometimes entices people as well, you know, because we do a lot of really great trips and stuff like that. So,
But Jane?
About what's in the newsletter.
yes, but it's further out. It's further projected, because I usually, so say this one's getting done in December, I had to have it done by November 5th. It goes out around December 5th. And then I have to plan from when they get it, which is the middle of December, hopefully, and then to March or something like
Yeah,
that.
and that magazine's a quarterly.
Yeah,
Okay, so every quarter. But you raise a really good question, Jane. You raise a really good question. What other resources can we use to get the word out, and cheaply enough? And I will say this, we can use both towns' websites.
Yeah.
The page, we have pages on their websites. We can find out about email databases that we might be able to access. The Board of Ed has a community news page. We can't do it on their regular page, but they will post things on their community page. So those are the kinds of things that we need to look into. and plan. But those would be, in my estimate, would be the cheapest way to go.
And
And free.
we've done that in the past. It's just that unfortunately, we haven't since we've reopened. And part of the problem is we're not planning as far in advance right now. You know, we're just starting to get through the next couple months because everything was so, and then we also usually would put out a press release every month to let people know what was happening at the center. So a bunch of newspapers would put it in their sections, you know. So that is another way that I'm looking at. Unfortunately, we switched emails, so I lost all my things, but I've been able to get a lot of them back through other senior centers that have had, you know, their press release list. So it's just a matter of hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be able to fine tune that. I've actually been concentrating more on the members we have than the members that we're right now, because we're trying to just get everybody back in that is a member. But that is on my to-do list to do that. So that's good. That's a good, thank you for saying that, because, you know, we do want to get our message out to everybody, you know.
And then one other thing.
Sure.
The plan, I know.
Can you speak up?
Jerry, you want to put it on this bulletin board here, but are there other public buildings where we could post it?
I don't know. I would have to ask, and I don't know. I mean, I know like Old Lyme has a bulletin board that you can post small notices on for things, but I don't know if they have a large enough space because these aren't small. But the other side of it is, I don't know if we can do it versus can anybody else do it, or how many people they let do it, you know. That's something to investigate about the plans. Okay. Again, they are posted on the websites at this point. Anybody can look at them on the web pages. Well, they're supposed to be. I'm not sure if Michelle Noren, she was gone for a few days, so I'm not sure if she's had time to post them since last Wednesday, but they will be up there, and everything. We have our own page. The building committee has its own page on the Old Lyme website where all our documents are posted, our membership policy, our constitution and bylaws, anything that we've done as a building committee, our rental agreement. So anybody who doesn't step foot in the building and talk to Steph about this kind of stuff, or sees me and talks to me in person, can access that information. And we did that, again, for transparency, but also for public access. And both the building committee and the center are going to have to get more active for publicity. We're just going to have to do it. And Steph and I will work on that together.
Jerry, could I make a suggestion?
Hold on, Jackie has a question.
I just wanted to make a suggestion. If we timed recruitment to their birthdays, like getting your license, because I have no idea when I started there, none. And it would be so much easier for them to see their birthday and know that it's time now to reapply. Just a thought.
What, can you do that?
So we've tried, that's a great idea, Jackie. We have tried a couple different things. Like after I was here about a year or so, we decided, let's just make everybody's membership start in July, you know? And but then there were people like, especially the Friends membership, that called their envelopes because they wanted to make they wanted to do their memberships in December, because then they can do also a donation for their taxes. So then, you know, what we've done is we've just gotten to the point where wherever they start, and then, you know, what happens if, say, your birthday is in May and you go to sign up in January, are you paying for the membership in, you know what I mean, for a full year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
So it was something we wrestled with for a while. I think right now what we're doing is we are sending reminders to anybody that's on the, to anyone that has an email, you know, we're sending that reminder the month before, just to let them know.
Okay.
If they don't though, then it's one of those, hey, are you getting your newsletter anymore? No, okay, your membership's expired, because it automatically
Okay.
just drops off the rolls,
Gotcha, gotcha.
But it's a good idea and, it would be good, except then you have to make all those other calls, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
when do you start that membership if you're, if you're
Oh,
just
true.
joining or what have you.
sure.
I mean,
Oh, just a thought, just a
Yeah,
thought.
no,
it's
good.
good
It was a
idea.
good thought. Yeah.
But we want to recruit new members, but we have to re-recruit old members whose memberships have expired. And then we need to retain, so it's a three-step, new members, old members who in the last 20 months didn't care about anything except being safe, and rightfully so. And we need to identify all the triggers to send those emails out, okay? If it's a matter, because I know I've talked to a lot of people who have asked me what's going on at the center. I haven't been getting my newsletter. And I said, and I've been telling, call Stephanie, email her, because you're not getting a newsletter, which means your membership has expired, okay? So that's maybe another message to send out. If you want to know what's going on and you were a member and you haven't got your newsletter in the recent past, it means your membership has expired.
Yeah,
That's one trigger.
We've done that on occasion. We've sent that via email because you don't drop off of the email list.
Yeah, but that was my question. You're not going to drop off your email list. You're just going to drop off the newsletter.
Right. So what happens is though, when I send the newsletter to people via the email, I just click just our members. So that they, you know what I mean? So that just our members are getting that newsletter. Other things that are like going on in the thing, I send all around, because if you're not a member and you call me and say, oh, I saw that you're having this next week, I wanted to sign up. I go to sign you up. I realize, and this is how we've been getting a lot of our members back, that they're no longer a member. And I say, oh, yep, you can, but we'll have you renew your membership when you come in, and then they take care of that. So that's,
Okay, so rewind a minute. So you send the email, you send the newsletter electronically to active members,
correct.
but you have a database of everybody, active or inactive. You have their emails.
Correct.
What's stopping us from sending a mass email to everybody and saying, if you haven't renewed your membership and you're not getting a newsletter and that means you're not active anymore, why can't you send that out to everybody?
I can,
That's one way to get
But-
people to.
but then people don't realize that they're no longer a member, because I think they're getting it via in other words, they're getting it via the email, so they don't realize that they're not. But if we preface it with, hey, here is the virtual newsletter, which they could,
You're not hearing what I'm saying. You've got 900 people who are inactive. You still have their emails.
I have about 750 emails
Okay.
for 1,500 people, or 16 or 1,700,
Okay, so
whatever
you
that
don't
is.
have emails for people who are not active anymore.
I have some emails for some people. If they gave me their emails, I still have them.
Okay.
If they did not, then I don't. So it wouldn't reach everybody, but yeah, I could definitely send that out and just put the note that if you're not getting this in the mail, your membership has probably expired.
Right, and you need to renew.
Uh-huh.
And if you hit it, let us put out, you throw out a net as big as you got, no matter what you got, and then see if you can get whatever you can get.
Right.
Jeremy, did you have a question?
Yes, I think it's a different idea, and it is kind of looking to the future, it's looking different. So we're kind of in the era now of online banking.
Speak up a little bit.
More and more people are starting to bank online. Which I think with some systems, it's possible to set up a
automatically too. Yeah,
And I think the issue that we've got here is whatever we're trying to create and change, we have to. That going back to that point, what was maybe something done. So maybe making annual membership 10% cheaper, but it is if you sign up to making a payment automatically. And then people are in unless the payments start coming. That's kind of quite a different philosophy there, to be getting people involved and keeping them there unless the payments start coming.
yeah, we've actually talked about credit cards and possible,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I spoke with the finance department for the town of Old Lyme, the director, because I was thinking the same thing, if we could use credit cards, but there is a problem with that, and that is that somebody would have to rectify everything. So I don't know if you guys realize it, but I am scheduled to work 30 hours a week. And this job does not get done in 30 hours a week. It just doesn't. It's gotten so bad that I've actually, we're really supposed to shy away from comp time, but I've really had to make comp time because I was always making it up. In other words, working over 30, but only putting down 30, and it just got to be too much. So the idea of having to also rectify all the credit cards is something that I can't do, and the finance department, will not be doing, because that was what they brought up to me, is that this would have to be something that I took on, and I just don't have any more room on my plate to take anything else on. So although I really like the idea of credit cards, I even talked to the senior centers across the state, sent out, because we have a thing where we can ask each other questions, and if we have information, we give it, and there's a lot of senior centers that are using the credit card system. However, usually they have a director, a program director, and then multiple other staff.
Yeah.
We have, between me and my assistant, 42 hours to run this building. And it's just sorely not enough. And so because of that, I can't even think about although I think it's a great idea, my mind went to the same place as you did when we were first talking about about it. As I said, well, let me reach out to all my people, and then let me reach out to the finance director. They do that for tax season. They do it for their thing, but they have the time to do it.
and the staff.
And the staff, and
Yeah.
we just don't.
So that might be a good way to get along term.
Say that one more time, I'm so sorry.
It might be a good way to go in the future if you get the additional leads.
I agree. I would be the first to be happy to be on board with that, yeah. Most certainly.
And so would a lot of our members. It's a benefit for them. Diana.
How about the online banking? If I wanted to pay my dues, but we just make it out through the senior center, we don't have to be account down to account. Is that how that would work?
All of our money goes, like when you write a check, like if you wrote a check for me and I put it, I gave it to, they put it in our Webster account. So we have a separate Webster account, which is the one you guys have your balance thing on. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah, but if you, and I hear what you're saying, if you decided to go to your bank, or you decided you wanted to pay your dues through an online banking option, is that kind of electronic transmission doable to the town hall?
Well, I don't, the answer is I don't know the answer to that, but it wouldn't go to the town hall. It would go to our Webster bank account that is the board's account. I don't know. I don't know any of, is that what, who's saying?
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and root it through.
If you're investing on the rest of them.
I don't get anything like that, so.
Yeah, well, that was gonna be my
At
next
this,
thing.
no,
She
but we
doesn't
do get a statement.
statements.
No, we do get a statements and Jane gets them through me, you know, which I get through, gets sent to the town hall. So I get it. And then that's the one that I send you from Webster Bank, which is, yeah. Jane has maybe something to add.
For membership only, so that you wouldn't have to go through the whole.
Yeah, but Jane, unless somebody writes in the memo section of a
No,
check.
no, I'm saying there may be a laptop or, just, if we had to talk to that. I mean, I think it can happen.
But
I think it's something you can investigate. I can investigate.
But how, I think Diana, correct me if I'm wrong, is your question of how would you know the difference between a donation and a membership if you wrote a check?
Yeah, and that's why I think we just talk to the bank about that.
But Jane, I write a check to Stephanie. I write it to the Lymes Senior Center and I write it for $20. Okay? How do we know, how does she know that $20 isn't just a donation, that it's a membership fee?
Usually it's either written,
It might be written, but we've run into this. We ran into this with a $125,000 check that somebody wrote us, okay?
And it's not a check, it's an electronic transfer.
Right.
Go to a specific
yeah.
But,
or section of it. That we work out.
yeah, okay, I think that's just, again, that's a lot of work.
Well, I don't know if it's a lot of work. It might be a lot of work for one person to work with the bank with, but then once all the members know where to send it, it may be very easier.
Okay, that's
well,
still,
yeah, I think it's actually easier for them to send in the check because when I get the check, if I don't know, I can call them and say, what is it? You know, but normally there's a note where it's written in the memo. Like I had somebody today, they wrote them and their husband and they wrote 2-year memberships for us. And so they gave me $20, you know, but they wanted to sign up for 2 years of memberships for both of them. And so when I put that in the system, in our database, I put what's memberships and what's donations. And then later, if I'm looking for donations or memberships, I can see that separately, you know what I mean?
okay, can we table this particular part of this discussion till like the beginning of the year, the new year? And then investigate that kind of option. Okay, I think right now, what the bigger thing is that the word just needs to get out. Okay, and let's figure out how to do that. So can we move on to the second half of that, which is what do we tell people about the center now, about the reopening of the center? There's so much confusion still out there, but Stephanie and I are really clear, and everybody in this room should be really clear about what we can do now and what we can't do
Do you want-
still.
Do you want me to give a quick blurb for
Yeah,
those members?
Just go ahead.
So, in case you guys get asked, we are open. We are open 9 to 3, Monday through Friday, just like we always were. The difference is we cannot do, right now, there is a mask mandate in place for all town buildings in the town of Old Lyme, and I believe Lyme as well.
Right.
And so we cannot do meals for obvious reasons. Unless you guys find a way to eat with a mask on, you know, then you can let me know. But So other than meals, everything we're doing the same. We're doing exercise programs, we're doing trips, we're doing movies, we're doing card player. You probably passed the card players when you came, some of the card players when you came in. We on top of all the programs that we are doing, we also are doing virtual programs as well. So we're doing virtual exercise programs. We're offering certain programs in person, lectures that we're having here, that if you call in and tell us that you want the virtual option, then we will know that and we'll send you the link for it. So if you can't make it in person or you don't feel comfortable making it in person, you can still be able to get on your computer and watch the lecture or whatever it is. That is what is going on right now in the center. Masks are required when you're indoor in the centers. And
Pre-registration.
definitely pre-registration. People have to let us know in advance, and we're very, and although we've always made sure people sign in for things, we weren't as strict as we are now, because if for some reason there is somebody that comes and tells me, hey, I have COVID, I can trace it back, see when they were here, and let the people know that were in the building at the time that they may have been exposed, you know? So, and although I won't share, I can't share the person, I can at least tell them they might have been exposed because you were in the building at the same time as somebody else. Now, the fact that we're sitting apart as much as possible, obviously when you play cards and other things like that, you're sitting, you know, closer together and you're wearing masks, it's gonna make it better, you know, less likely, but we are going to keep an eye and let people know as we need to. But yeah, any of our entertainment, that's one caveat that's a little different. Like for instance, our town band comes every beginning of December on a Sunday and does a program here. It does a big concert. Well, we can't have 40 people playing instruments while we're sitting in the audience. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be going down to Christ the King Church and recording it on our Zoom link. And then people that can get on virtually will get on virtually. And then people that want to see it, we're going to rebroadcast it on December 14th for our members. And they can come here and we'll put it up on the movie screen. So things, the old Lymes singers that are coming in, they normally come in December. Let me just finish this last one. They're going to be there and we're going to be watching it at the same time live, but we're going to be on the screen. So just so you know, that's the differences in the way we're doing programming now.
Okay, so simple message. We're open 9 to 3, but we're not open to you to just come and hang out. We're open for pre-registered programs, pre-registered activities with the current mask mandate in place by the town. Okay, hold on. Social distancing is still recommended for whatever activities. We are not open to just come in and hang out. If you look at other senior centers, that's what they're doing too. They're not letting people just come and hang out. Okay, you come in, you do an activity, you leave. Okay, that's what everybody seems to be doing, because I've looked at a whole bunch of senior centers, even though they look like they're wide open, they're not. And there's a reason for it. We can't, and this is the legal side of it. We as a government agency cannot ask anybody if they've been vaccinated. We cannot ask them to prove their vaccination status. We cannot ask them if they're on any kind of drug that suppresses their immune system, that even if they are wearing masks and socially distancing, are they still at risk? And the bottom line is, we don't want one person to get COVID in this building, not one. Okay. So Stephanie does the research every week with state agencies, national guidelines, state guidelines, whatever other centers are doing, and also with whatever message she's getting from both town halls, okay, about how to protect one of the most vulnerable populations in this country, which is us. What's your question?
Tell me what you're going to do with the movie.
So the movie will be just like the other programs. We will be setting you guys apart.
All the way down there, and get 40 people, you're gonna have them all the way down there that can't hear.
We won't have 40 people. I can, because I've already showed a few movies. We are not having 40 people right now. We have a limited amount, but we haven't had to worry about that because there are people that are coming back and there's people that aren't right now. We have a loudspeaker and that goes anywhere and you can hear no matter what, but you won't be way down there, but they will be separated unless they're like a husband and wife that are, you know, live together kind of thing. So does that answer your question?
There really is a bottom line here. We are not out of a pandemic yet. Okay, we're not out of it yet. We might be in better shape than we were 20 months ago, but we're not out of it yet. And we have to every week, every 2 weeks, look at infection rates, hospitalization rates, look at anything that are in these two communities that could put people at risk. Okay, and we have to make sure that this center as a municipal agency does not put people at risk. That's really the bottom line. And Stephanie spends all those other hours that she doesn't get paid doing that. You know, her other job that got added during this pandemic was contact tracing, pre-registration, actually planning virtual universe, actually doing all the stuff that she didn't have to do before the pandemic started. Okay. So we have to go with all the knowledge that she knows and that we know to keep our membership and the public who walks into this building safe.
Does that mean people that have not been inoculated can walk into this building? Be mingled with everybody else. I've had 3 shots.
Yeah.
I don't feel that I'm going to get it from anybody that was here that has it.
Okay.
But it's leaving it open for anybody that can just walk in. They don't have to tell you whether they have the shots or not. And you're still in the room with it.
That's why the mask mandate is important. That's why we are a small center. Okay, whatever social distancing she has to put in place is going to limit the number of people who could be in this building.
Which is
At
why
any one time.
pre-registration is so important.
Anyway,
We wouldn't, even if we had 40 people that wanted to watch the movie, they would not watch it in one sitting. Because that's why we're pre-registering. We have a cutoff to make sure that we have enough room between people so that we don't have that problem. You speaking with many other senior centers across the state, that is something that we all are finding that we cannot ask people if they're vaccinated. We cannot, but we can make people wear masks while we're still in the pandemic. We can make people sit apart from each other in most cases. Like I said, there is exceptions with card playing and stuff like that. And then our air filters have all been upgraded. So the air, you know, I don't know all the specifics of it, but once COVID hit, we put special like MERV filters in things. And that probably doesn't mean anything to you. It doesn't mean anything to me, but it's called a MERV filter and it does a lot more filtering of the air.
And they upped the air exchange as well. Okay.
So anyway, so what my goal is to keep people as safe as possible. Whenever you come into any building, you're always taking a risk. You know, but while the pandemic is going on, you're always going to have a risk, but we want to mitigate it as much as we can because on top of what we need to do for our members, I personally couldn't live with that if something happened to somebody because of something I didn't do to protect them, you know.
That's right. That's right. This is personal, political, and professional, okay, for Steph. The other, and I'll give you another answer too. My brother lives in a 55 and older condo community, nice one over in Mystic. Everybody got boosted, everybody got inoculated. A woman contracted COVID in his building 2 weeks ago. 3 days later, she's dead. All right. She had comorbidities. She had a suppressed immune system. Anybody who's inoculated, you still have to have enough antibodies in your system to be able to resist the virus. If you have a suppressed immune system, it's difficult for you to be that safe. That's why wearing a mask is extremely important. And you're right, somebody could walk into this building for something, sign up, and be here who's not inoculated. But that's why they're gonna be made to wear a mask, and if they won't wear a mask, they can't participate in any activity in this building. Okay, if they refuse to do it. Steph's got that power, and she needs it, and it's rightfully hers. And of course, there are some people in town, both towns, who might disagree with us about this. But again, they're not thinking about the big picture in some cases.
When you go in the grocery store, nobody has a mask on.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, you have to wear a mask to get into the store. And then once you get in here, you can take it off. I mean, there's such a bunch of mixed messages.
Still,
And along with the spacing, I think you need to use the microphone more so everybody can hear.
Oh, yeah, well, we do. I don't know, we should be today, but things have been crazy, but in general, we have been using microphones a lot. And,
I mean, with a mask, it's not confusing. It's all muffled.
yeah,
If you're going to the store and somebody's trying to tell you something, I don't know what you're talking about.
right.
it hasn't been easy. It's not easy. But if it saves your life, it's what you do. Or if it saves somebody else's life, not just yours. You can still be inoculated and carry the virus too. And spread it to other people. You just are asymptomatic. So it does matter who you hang out with in closed spaces. Outside, we're in such beautiful shape. Inside, there's still too many things to worry about. Yeah. All right. So clearer message. We're open from 9 to 3. Stephanie is the point person, or Cheryl, whoever is here to pre-register for events and programs as advertised, as dictated. No meals at this point while mask mandate is in place.
No in-person meals.
No in-person meals, okay, picking up to-go meals, that's been a wonderful asset to this community.
And we do the once a month outdoor thing like we did today, so.
Right, and no hanging out. You come in, you do your activity, you go home, that's what you do. And you can access multiple dozens of these activities virtually if you don't feel you want to come into the building. Which is what our senior center is probably going to look like for the future anyway. We're probably going to end up being a hybrid of virtual and in-person programming from this point forward. This is one of the opportunities of a pandemic that's been created, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, so does that make it easier for you if you're talking to people about what's happening here? And again, some of the people that are asking me those questions are people that are making decisions in town. Those are the people I want to get into this building so they can see we're a small space. Yes, we do need to wear masks. We do need to limit numbers of people in the building. And she controls that. That's her job. Okay.
Would it be a good idea just to have those key bullet points?
Yeah, yeah.
Front page of the website.
Yeah.
We can figure out where to put them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good, thank you. Okay. Holy mackerel. Not breaking any records today. I think we're setting a record. Do we have any other new business? Yes, Dave.
Well, the essence of time, I'll make this quick. VFW is always very happy that we were allowed to be here at the senior center. And Stephanie, thank you for referring at least 2 veterans to the help.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom line is we're concluding probably the best year we've ever had. An annual dinner dance exceeded all financial expectations. Senator Blumenthal was there, Senator Mika was there, Congressman Courtney was there, 200 people. It was really a nice affair.
Nice.
We exceeded our pumping drive by double, and we got an excessively large donation. All this being said, I'm in your position, perhaps. I got more money and I know what to do with it.
Give it to the building committee, please.
So anything that we can do for the senior center, whether it is a particular thing that we need, please let us know, because these coasts that have their own building are in real serious trouble. Their old buildings, they're falling apart.
Yeah.
The insurance, the maintenance, plus they have a bar, which I would never hear to make a bar, it's just a disaster.
Right.
So we're, one reason that we are so profitable is because we produce the senior. So with that in mind, our membership wants to do whatever, within reason, I mean.
We'll-
5 million might be able to buy.
We're gonna talk.
Anything you need, we're.
Thank you.
Thank you again, because some of these veterans are, they won't say very much, and then, you know, you hear it.
Yeah.
They're lonely.
Yeah, or I hear from family members and, you know, it really does, yeah, family members are them themselves. I'm really glad. For those of you that don't know, the VFW meets here usually monthly at night. And they do all the programming for, I mean, they do all the, like if there's somebody that has a need, a veteran, they will help them. So it's like a temporary fix, not a permanent, like they're not gonna pay them rent every month, but if they're in a pickle, then they'll take care of them in whatever. I mean, I remember the homeless man you guys sent to, that was a veteran that they sent to be with his daughter in Las Vegas, and they put him up in a hotel, hotel like efficiency for, I think, about a week or two, and then he went out, and they do really nice things for the community. So when I hear of a veteran, that's one of my first questions when there's a need, and are you a veteran? And if they are, then I refer them to VFW, because I know that they would help however they can, or at least point them in the services if it's not something that they can handle. But we are very fortunate to have them work out of our building, because it's a win-win for the veterans, you know.
Okay. That leads me to ask, how many vets signed up for the luncheon?
We had, I'd have to look. I think we had about 20, or I think I'd have to look. I really don't.
Because you need to report out how much you actually spent
I spent 600 and,
on the vets. You had a 200.
not 600. Why am I thinking 600? I spent, yeah, well, that's what I spent, because the other ones paid for their own. So it's not 600. I'm totally mixing it up. I had it down. We had a total of, I think, 38 people that participated, but they were not all vets. I have to find out.
Yeah,
how
just
many.
have it for the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry. Yeah, there's a
Sorry,
couple of things I want to have for the next meeting. So, but it was under budget. That's for sure.
And then you wanted to do something else.
Yes, so every December, we try to do a seniors in need program where I reach out to, if I know of any senior in need of groceries that are having trouble with money and that stuff. Once we picked usually 12 seniors between the towns of Lyme and Old Lyme. I reach out to social services if I know anybody that comes in. I also will, and I know that they still are having issues, then we'll add them. But what we try to do is we try to do a gift card for Big Y for perishable stuff. And we try to do where we buy a bunch of food for them, like that isn't perishable. Like in the years, Jane and I've filled up her station wagon a few years back. and we did tuna fish and soup and peanut butter jelly, things that aren't stuff that they can, that are easy for them to be able to get some nutrition in. So,
What do you need?
and so I was hoping that if we usually spend $20 on each one, and then we have 12. So I think I figured that out. I figured it out and I left it on my desk.
240.
Thank you. So let's just round it up to 250 for that. And then I've got some gift cards left from last year. And I believe that there's a book club that usually helps us out. They called me, they reached out to me just on Friday, and they were going to have their meeting tomorrow and see, instead of what they do is, instead of giving each other presents that they don't need, they give us money towards this as well. So I'm not sure that they're going to be doing that, but I'm pretty sure. If they do, then I wouldn't need any gift cards, but if they didn't, then I may need about 6 gift cards. And so if you did $20, that would be 120. So possibly 360 or 370.
Hold on.
And then, but if they were to do that, then I wouldn't need that much.
So you have, you're only doing 12.
I always do 12. Yeah.
Okay, all right, you're doing 12.
Yeah.
If it's $20 a bag,
Yeah.
okay, and plus the gift cards. That's what-
Plus a $20 gift card. Yeah.
Okay, so it's $40 per person.
However, I have 6 gift cards already in my drawer
Okay,
left over. So I only need 6 more gift cards.
okay.
So-
you need 240 with the $20 and then another
120.
120. Okay, so you need 300. Let's say 3. Why don't we round it up to 400, given what could happen, and you can always.
Yeah. And also with the way food has gone up, we might not be able to fill the bags as nicely.
Yeah,
So
no, I was just gonna say that the way
Mm.
prices of food have gone up. Can we have a motion to allow Stephanie to spend up to $400 on the seniors in need? Joni and Diana seconded, okay. Any further discussion on that motion before we vote? I have just one question. We only do 12, but what if there are more people who need it? Like, say, Lyme comes back to you and says, I found another person. Can you up the numbers, or do you always? just
it's
leave
all,
it
I'm going to be honest. Jane has participated. Joni has
to- I
participated.
did one year too.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And I mean, I just don't even know if we would be able to fit in more than that food
Okay, so
wise
limited
into
to
a,
12.
yeah.
All right, no, what's manageable.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Can I say one more thing? It's kind of out of order, but I don't want to forget to tell everybody because it was based on what they gave me money for last time.
Okay,
I just wanted to say, if you guys didn't get to take a chance to see the book thing right outside the door, there's a plastic shed that houses our books and our puzzles. Please feel free to open it up and take a peek. It's been a great opportunity to keep everything safe and dry, and people can use it 24 hours a day. So thank you guys for agreeing to allow us to purchase it. And we had a volunteer put it together for us. So we're very fortunate to have that, and thank you for approving that.
any other new business? Okay, then can I have a motion for adjournment? Jeremy, motion moved, second, please, Dave, Jeremy and Dave. Any discussion on it being adjourned, or do you not want to leave, or what? Okay, all those in favor? Go home, enjoy your rest of your afternoon. Stay safe, stay warm, and watch the weather.